Right, SABC News' International Editor Sophie Mokoena has been monitoring the 76th session of the UN General Assembly and joins me in studio now. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Strong statements during the opening session yesterday. What can we expect today?
Well, clearly, the leaders will continue in terms of the debates. Today, you're expecting countries such as Malawi, Mozambique, Kenya, and this debate will continue later tonight because today we have two important sessions. One that will be hosted by the American President Joe Biden, and of course the one that many people are looking forward to is the one where the leaders are going to talk about the 20th anniversary of the Durban Declaration, where UN conference was held in Durban, hosted by South Africa, where they were discussing issues that are related to racism and all forms of intolerance.
All right, so that summit on racism and all forms of intolerance is an important topic. Do we know, are all countries going to participate in that?
Well, there are problems, as it has been before, when you discuss issues that are related to racism and all forms of intolerance. You know, countries hold different views. You know that in 2001, when South Africa hosted that summit in Durban, I remember very well that Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, then who was a foreign affairs minister, didn't sleep. Neither did the chair of the summit, that is former President Thabo Mbeki, sleep. And also he couldn't even make it on time in terms of visiting home or going home to meet the family after the passing on of his father, Gov, and he had to fly to Port Elizabeth in the morning after the conference had adopted this declaration, because he thought that it would be important for him to ensure that the declaration was adopted, because there was a fight between Israel and Palestine. And in this case, again here, there is a situation where you find other countries who are not willing to really cooperate.
All right, so we know US President Joe Biden will be delivering his opening remarks during the COVID-19 special summit that's later on today. What can we expect from that speech?
We know that earlier on at around lunchtime, we saw an announcement from the White House that President Joe Biden has made an announcement that he's going to purchase he's going to use $500 million to purchase Pfizer doses, and those doses will be donated to poorer countries. We expect more announcements later today at around 6 when that summit starts. Our president is going to participate. It will be a virtual summit. But yesterday, I spoke to one of the officials, senior officials at the World Health Organization about this summit. He indicated that they are hopeful that the announcement will be good, particularly for the COVAX facility and the AVAD facility, because these two facilities that are aimed at buying vaccines for poorer countries and developing countries, they are struggling to get the vaccines. They had an emergency meeting with pharmaceutical companies around the World Bank, the IMF, and many other stakeholders to try and push the pharmaceutical companies to be able to supply poorer countries and developing countries. Let's take a listen at what Dr. Bruce had to say when I spoke to him yesterday, and where he spoke about a need to engage with the pharmaceutical companies, and that they have promised that they will do things differently.
Why are you, the major COVID-19 vaccine producers, unable to supply COVAX and AVAT, the African Union's vaccine acquisition trust, with the vaccines that they have contracted? Why are you not able to supply these fast enough? We wanted to have a closed-door Chatham House discussion to really have a frank, dig into those issues. Because as you know, Sophie, today we are getting to a situation where over 50% of the population is vaccinated in the high-income countries, upper middle-income countries, but there on the continent we have got less than 5%, less than 2% in most of it, and it's mainly because we have not got the supply from these same manufacturers. So we had to have a frank conversation about that.
Clearly, that frank conversation is going to continue later today at around 6 o'clock when the summit gets underway. And I think President Ramaphosa is going to be very forthright in terms of his concern that they are battling to be able to procure these vaccines for Africa in particular. You know that he's leading the campaign that is aimed at addressing COVID-19, but also procurement of vaccines. And Strive Masiwa saying last week during the conference media briefing with WHO that there's money, they were able to raise funds, but the pharmaceutical companies are refusing to sell the vaccines to the sub-Sahara region, saying that all vaccines have been procured by developed countries, your G7 countries, and that there are also challenges around regulatory framework, but also imports.
Sophie Mokoena, SABC News International Editor, joining us in studio there. Thanks so much for your time.